My name is Zhou Xiaoqin. That's in Chinese order. I graduated from Wuhan University in 1989 and came to the United States to go to graduate school in University of Minnesota. I got my master and PhD in chemistry from University of Minnesota. And then after that, I also did some postdoc in University of Michigan Pharmacy College, and then worked about 20 years in the pharmaceutical and medical device industry, including Pfizer and Roche. So about 3.5 years ago, I retired from the working force, and now I'm a full-time Christian ministry volunteer.
Okay, so we're doing this interview today because you were participated in the ballot recount in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Can you share some of the experience with us about what happened there?
So after I learned that they have a need for observers, so I and a sister from our church, we went there on the 21st, and then Dr. Lu and his wife already went there before us. So we arrived there on November 21st afternoon, about 3 p.m. Okay, so that was the second day of recount. After we settled down, we went to the recount place. When the Trump side people learned that we are Chinese Americans and we want help, they were very excited. So they just brought me in there, and then someone was there all day, so I just replaced that person. I stayed there from 3 to 5 p.m. Well, on that table, there was really no activity going on. However, the Democrat rep sitting next to me keep reporting on me. I noticed that Trump observers are working so hard, standing on the tip of their toe, and then try to look from 7 feet away, where the Biden observers are very relaxed, sitting in their chair, looking at the Trump observer, trying to find fault or trying to disturb.
And in the 5 days I was there, I've seen not a single one application form whenever the absentee ballot envelope will show up. One of them is 26%, 27% of the absentee ballot. I mean, I could not imagine how come there are so high percentage of people who are so sick and confined to the table and couldn't come out to vote. So therefore, there's a potential fraud there. However, such a fraud will not be evident until you make an investigation into it. So I cannot directly say each indefinitely confined absentee ballot was a fraud. I could not, because it's possible there were genuine ones. But I would say that it's very suspicious. Suspicious that so high percentage of them. At 5 o'clock, November 24th, and I was really surprised that there are 4, 5, 6 people came to the table that I work with, all in spiffy clothes, and lady and gentleman, and stood in semicircle, and one of them, to my surprise, came in and pulled out a ballot from the pile of ballots I was watching, and I was really surprised, and because I couldn't believe my eyes, because the whole purpose of recount is to make sure that all the number counts coming to the table or tie the numbers that leaving the table. With one ballots pulled out, my count cannot be tied. And everybody is talking about we have to count the every valid ballot. Everybody is saying that. But for that one particular ballot, nobody was questioning it. So I, stood up and protested, and they just ignored me. They pulled the vote out. I don't know where they put it. They might have put it behind the boxes behind them, but anyway, they pulled it out and did not return it. And the election officials didn't say the word about this. And I protested then, and all of a sudden I found there were maybe 10 people behind me watching this. And I turned around to find that they were all Republican attorneys. And they told me, I said, what are these people? They say, some of them said, those are the Democrat heavies. Those are, important people from Democrat Party. They pulled them out. I say, for what? Because the votes were sacred, right? It's one of all the votes. If we defend one vote, we defend one vote. We will lose one vote, we lose all. We defend one vote, we defend all the votes. If we have disrespect for one voter, that's disrespect for all the people. Therefore, I protested, and I asked for the reason for that. They says because for Greenfield, which is the suburb west of Milwaukee, that the total numbers do not tie. We had more votes on the table than what they wanted to be. So there were extra votes, extra ballots from their point of view. But the whole purpose of recount should be to investigate what's the reason for these extra ones. Instead of investigate the reason for it, they destroy the extra votes instead.
The evening of November 23rd, about 5:30 to 6, a Biden guy pretend to be a Trump guy. So he walked over. Well, at that time, a lot of activities are already done, so activities are quiet down. So he walked over to some of the Biden observers. He told them that it's all already done for today. You can leave. So then people start to leave. Once the hall is empty, and they brought in a lot of ballots, a lot of boxes, and they start to count. Unfortunately, there are still a few Trump supporters left in the lobby. They saw the activity, but it's too late for any Trump observer to enter and observe.